What up guys, Cruising here, and in today's video, as you can see, I have on the top left here, I have the Harbor Freight clone light of the TLR1, and I have the TLR1 right here. I also have the SureFire and the TLR-7X just to test it out. The Harbor Freight light is 1,000 lumens, TLR1 is 1,000 lumens. The SureFire is the A model version. For those that don't know, the B model version of the Streamlight has a normal screw, just like all these lights here, but I went with the A model, and all that is instead of having the screws, you could just slide it on, it'll click in there on your weapon. But that one is 650 lumens, but has a really bright beam in the middle that goes super far, so it kind of makes up for it. It's a really good light. And then I have the TLR-7X. This is only 500 lumens. This would be good for, like concealed carry, or on some home defense weapons too, if you don't want something that's too bright. So the Harbor Freight light, the TLR1, and the SureFire, so these lights up here, all three of these lights, they both use two CR1238 batteries. And this TLR here, it uses the same battery, but it only uses one. And all these lights do come with batteries when you purchase them. So as of recording this video, the Harbor Freight light is going for close to $50. It's about $49.99. And for those who don't know, the Harbor Freight light, well, they're actually getting sued by Streamlight right now. I found that out yesterday, so who knows if this light's still going to be available on the market, or if they're going to change this light up, or what's going on with this light. But Streamlight is suing Harbor Freight, so we'll see how that goes. And as you can see here, it is compared to the TLR1-HL, very similar. There's the fronts. Top's right there. Side again. And here are the rears. So very similar. Then this TLR1 is going for around, it's going for close to 150 bucks, maybe a little bit more. It depends if you could find one of these on sale or not, but that's about the price you're paying for it. Then the SureFire is going in the $300 range for the X300 Turbo, and even the Ultra. It's about in the $300 range. Sometimes you can find them low 300, sometimes mid, sometimes high. But as you can see, there's the top of the light. There's the back. There's your switches here. There's your plate. Bottom. That's your SureFire right there. As you can see right here, I have the TLR-7X. This light is going for around about 150 bucks, just like the TLR1. Maybe a little bit more, depending which variant you buy and where you buy it. There's switches there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and weigh these lights out so you get an idea of how much they weigh. These lights do have the batteries inside of them. Okay, this one is 2.5 ounces. And this is gonna help us see, maybe there's like with the TLR1 and the Harbor Freight, maybe they're using different components inside or something. That's gonna give us an idea. So let's see. Harbor Freight, 4.2 ounces. HL is also 4.2 ounces. Okay. I was expecting the Harbor Freight light to be a little bit lighter, so that's kind of neat. SureFire X300, 4.1 ounces. Okay. On each light, specifically the TLR1 and the Harbor Freight copy, and even the TLR7, the light switch is super easy to engage. Engages very easily. But with the SureFire, it is harder to engage the switch, specifically on a weapon, and you're trying to use it with like your thumb or something. As you can see, it's a little bit harder to engage there. Maybe it's just because mine's brand new. It needs to be wore in, or maybe I need to put some oil in there. But that is something I have noticed in comparison as well. When comparing the TLR1 and the Harbor Freight clone, they both, like, in terms of like quality, how they're built, they feel pretty freaking close. I mean, they feel very close. The only real difference I could feel, just right off the bat is the finish. This has a different finish, as you can see, than the TLR1. But besides that, they feel identical to me. With the Harbor Freight light, I guess a lot of people are having problems buying them because so many people are trying to buy them that they're always out of stock at their location. Fortunately, I was lucky enough, I had a friend. He actually really wanted to get one of these. After I showed him, I was like, hey, Harbor Freight's releasing these. And he stopped by Harbor Freight. He's like, you want one of these? I was like, sure, why not? And I actually traded him some old 40 Smith & Wesson ammo I had, because I'm phasing out all my 40 SW handguns as of right now. So that was actually a pretty good trade. But only problems I've had with the Harbor Freight light is, of course, I had the situation where it was super loose on the firearm, even though I tightened this all the way. And it's like, it's a $50 light from Harbor Freight, you know, it's not the end of the world. At least that's how I see it. But I had to do that. I had a little fix. I had to put some tape in there, some grip tape, and I just screwed it in and it fixed it. And it's been solid so far. In terms of the actual components inside this light, you know, we're not gonna know how that lasts yet because this light literally just came out not that long ago. So we're gonna have to wait a couple years, maybe a year or two, see how this holds up. Because who knows, this could be an absolute flop. And this does not hold up at all and it's awful. Or this could be really good and it'll last a couple years. We'll have to wait and see. So that's something to look forward to in the future. However, the TLR-7, the SureFire, and the TLR-1, I feel like these are all pretty proven. I do know on the TLR-7 here, I had some problems with this screw actually breaking. I was actually using these and the screw would just snap. Like not even while tightening it or anything like that. I had to contact Streamlight to get some replacements. I know you could buy on eBay some durable replacement screws, but that's the only problems I've ever had with this Streamlight. I have another Streamlight where a pressure pad broke, but that's a completely different type of weapon light we're not going to be talking about here today. Okay, for best use cases, I think this would be good if you're looking for something like a budget light, you have a budget build going, or you just want to find out how this light holds up. I think for 50 bucks, you couldn't go wrong. With the TLR1, I think this is a good average light. I feel like for the average person looking for a defensive light for their EDC or defensive firearm, I think Streamlight's a good option. You know, it's 150 bucks. I don't think you could go wrong. I say if you have the money, or okay, let's say you're using this for a duty weapon, or you just have the money to splurge and you want the nicest thing you could possibly get, I say get the SureFire. And if you're looking for something for EDC use or even home defense, because some people don't want something too bright, because, you know, okay, let's say you're in a situation, someone breaks in and you're half asleep, you don't want to blind yourself, you know. So TLR-7 would be a good option for that too, or for EDC, which is what I mainly use it for. I know some people consider the Streamlight as a budget light, and obviously the Harbor Freight is a budget light. I mean, it really just depends on your budget, you know, because to some people this is going to be a nice light, some people this is going to be a budget light, and this is definitely going to be a budget light here in terms of cost. SureFire, this is something on the nicer end. I know the Harbor Freight, of course, is going to be made out of Chinese parts in China. The Streamlight, a lot of people think the Streamlight is 100% USA made. That is not the case. That is not the case. I know a lot of people, I had some comments saying that if you want all-American, you should buy Streamlight. Streamlight's better than the Harbor Freight, whereas the Streamlight's not 100% made in the United States. Okay, let me show you here. For all the people thinking that Streamlight's 100% made in the USA, they're not. They're simply assembled in the USA of US and foreign parts. So at least the TLR1 model is not fully made in the USA. Some people thought it was, but it's not. It's only assembled in the USA like a lot of American stuff now. I know there's some Streamlights they 100% make in China, like they're more budget options, like the normal EDC lights that are fully made in China. If you want to learn more about that, you can research it for yourself, because I'm not trying to make this video too long. And the SureFire, this is, I know for a fact they're made in the USA. I don't know if they have some components that are from overseas, but I do know a good majority of it is made in the USA. If you want, you can do your research on that. And Streamlight's, this TLR7 is about the same way. USA assembled with Chinese components. I know there might be some Streamlight models that are 100% made in the USA, but these are not, for the people wondering that. Another thing is I did run this on my Glock 20. I did take it to the range. One thing I was concerned about was this coming loose and falling off, but it did not. It actually held up. I actually went with a buddy of mine. He has one of these lights and he put it on his Glock 23 Gen 3 and his fell off. So I don't know if he just didn't tighten it enough or what, but he did tighten it and throughout the rest of that range trip it held fine. So we'll have to see how that holds up. Maybe he needs to put Loctite or something on it. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you guys a quick comparison of all these lights in dark, indoor, nighttime conditions. So if you're thinking about running one of these lights for, you know, home defense or just self-defense in general, this will help give you a good comparison of the lights indoors at night. The distance that I was shining these lights was roughly a little over 7 yards. So that'll give you an idea of what to expect with that. All right, guys, I'm gonna go into the light comparison. All these weapons have been checked and they are all clear, ready for this test. I have the 19X with the SureFire X300. I also have controversial Harbor Freight light. I drew a little smiley face on it. Then I also have the TLR1-HL. For everyone who doesn't know, this is the light that the Harbor Freight is cloning. Then I also have my TLR-7X on my CZ. So let's go test this. All right, guys, for the first light, I have the TLR7. That's what it looks like. Got a very light white pattern here. White pattern. You got a very wide light pattern here. All right, now I have the TLR1. You should see here, you got a very bright, pronounced center beam there. Next, I have the X300 Turbo SureFire. You can see there, you got a very, very bright pattern. This pattern goes very far. TLR1 clone, the Harbor Freight. As you can see, very bright middle beam there. Like I said, the purpose of this test is if you're looking for a good home defense light, something for your nightstand gun or anything like that. Hopefully this gives you a good idea. Like I said, as you can see, we are currently in blackout conditions. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what light you want to get next.